Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear, and we're upstairs at the table like we normally do. We're gonna try something a little different though. We're gonna start putting out videos from my bench downstairs where I normally do all of my work and servicing guns. We're gonna start a line of videos that is going to help you become a more confident, better paintball player when it comes to managing your own gear. How to fix your guns, common problems that I see with equipment, how to fix tanks, loaders, all those things that we always get questions about. Hopefully these videos can help you solve your own problems and not be relying on someone else to do for you. So I'm trying to help you out, make you a more confident, better paintball player. So watch the videos. We're gonna upload all sorts of content. Thanks for watching, ansgear.com. Okay, so we have today, what we're looking at is a Tippmann A5. This is a brand new A5 that was sent in by a customer that they had purchased. And they said they were having some firing issues where they would put their tank on and cock it back and shoot it, and it wouldn't recock. They'd have to cock it back every single time and shoot the gun. They said they tried 2 different CO2 tanks. And for a Tippmann A5 like this, a CO2 tank is fine. There should be no reason that you couldn't use a CO2 tank on this. They used 2 different CO2 tanks. Gun didn't work properly, so they sent it back into us. We're going to check it out and see what's going on with this thing. Now I have this tank here, and obviously when we're working with this particular type of gun, Tippmanns, and then various A5s and things like that, or A5s, we're working on an A5, various Kingman guns, you want to make sure that the bottle you're working with is a high output bottle. If you run a low pressure bottle or a mid pressure bottle into this gun, there's a chance that you could run into cycling issues or velocity issues because you're not supplying the gun with enough pressure. And especially seeing as though this gun right here has a cyclone feed on it, which is going to almost siphon some of the air pressure out of the gun to cause it to work properly. You gotta make sure that you're supplying ample air into the gun to get it to function properly. And CO2 is fine, especially with this gun with not a regulator on it or anything like that. CO2 will run just fine on it. But this bottle here, I know has a high output pressure on it, so we're gonna go from there. I would recommend, if you're just doing this for testing issues or tech issues, you're not doing it for velocity, but you want to make sure the gun is cycling and moving, at least 650 psi output. If you are then going to use it for testing velocities and making sure everything is perfect 100%, I would recommend at least 800 to 850 output. And then if you are running multiple things that would require a little bit of the air to be used for it, like the cyclone feed and then maybe a response trigger, you might want to go up even higher than that. But 800 to 850 should get you exactly what you're looking for. So let's see here. I can cock the gun back. Just feel a little stiff in there, but I don't feel it grinding or binding up on anything, which is good. So let's go ahead and just cock it back. Let's put this tank on here. Let's just see what happens if I try to shoot it right now. We don't need the barrel on it. I'll just set that to the side. So the gun is shooting. I don't have any issues with it recocking. It seems to have plenty of velocity in there. I can feel it. It's hitting my hand nice and hard. What I do notice though is cyclone feed is not turning at all. So there's definitely an issue with air getting into the cyclone feed. I don't really see that as a firing issue. Maybe that's what they meant, that the gun wouldn't cycle paint into it, and they had to cock it every time, maybe like this. I don't know. The note is vague. as far as where they had to, what they meant by caulking it every time was this, or if they had to do this to get that. So let's try to figure out why our cyclone feed isn't turning. First thing we want to look at actually is the hosing, because we have plenty of gas coming out the front. The gun is cycling, no issues. So for some reason we don't have any airflow into our piston over here. So let's flip it over, and I can already see the problem. So if you're looking at this, let me bring this up real close, and you can see the problem is right there. This section of the banjo fitting, so you've got one fitting that's right here, which has a little post on it, which then runs to this fitting where the air goes in. And every time you pull the trigger, the hammer or the rear bolt or whatever they call it in this gun comes forward and strikes the valve, and the valve opens up and allows air to come through the valve and push the ball out. But some of that air is channeled backwards along the side of the valve to push the striker back. But also, if you've got one of these ports opened up, some of that air will come through this port and activate something on the outside of the gun. This is exactly where you would see your cyclone feed set up over there, and the response trigger as well. So this is your cyclone feed line coming over here. And I'm pretty sure that these fittings on a stock A5, this one's on the top. I'm pretty sure that's how they run them, because if you were to ever install a cyclone, or not a cyclone, a response trigger on this thing, you run the response out of the bottom so that the hosing is closer to the bottom down here. So that's something I am actually going to look at, because that will tell me if the customer tried to take something apart or did something to the gun, if this is in the wrong spot. So I'm going to pause the video really quick, and I'm going to go grab a brand new A5, and then we will look at that one together. So give me 1 second while I go grab an A5. Okay, so I grabbed a brand new A5 to pull it out of there, and I was wrong. They do run it out of the bottom hole, but you can see how that is supposed to be set up right there. This needs to go straight across, not bent at an angle. What's happening is, as the air is trying to come out of this fitting to go into this hose, the hose is actually blocking the end of the fitting. It's pinched off the end of the fitting right there, and not letting any air go into the hose assembly right there. So I bet you if we turned this fitting that it would work, and we'll try that. But I also brought over a response trigger setup right here so that you could see how when you run the response line in there, you move that to the top, and it comes from the top right there, and then your response trigger line goes along the bottom section so that it's lower to this back fitting back here. So I don't know why I thought that was on the top always, but I'm apparently not right on that one. All right, so let's reset this up. Now we're just going to test this real quick to see if that's our problem or not for the cyclone feed, and then I'll replace this hose. We don't want to leave this hose in this condition after we've made sure that this is what's causing the issue. We'll replace it with a new piece of hose, just in case there's maybe a hole in it or something like that. We don't want to have that look like that. So let's move this fitting to where it should be, like that, and then let's tighten that down. I'm going to get my finger on that barb so it doesn't rotate. Let's try it out. You can see the kink in the hose right there. That should be just a nice straight piece of hosing. Shouldn't have any like crazy bends and everything, but that's bent now because when the fitting was turned, it was just stretched that hose out, and the hose is just too long now. So let's see what we did. Look, there it goes. Plenty of pressure on there. That's that. This gun looks to me to be brand new. Like it wasn't even, never made it to the field, never had any issues because there's no paint on it, there's no scratching on it, there's nothing like that. So we'll get a hold of the customer, let them know what's going on with their gun, see if they want to get this gun back or see if they want to go with something else, and we'll go from there. But something as simple as just a hose can make the whole thing go wonky on you. So quick little video just to show you how that can ruin your day somehow. Anywho, talk to you guys later. Bye.